y'all, it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my May anticipated releases. It's a US release and it's May 1st. The Short Knife by Elen, Caldecott. This has been on my wish list for like the UK for a long time, so I got really excited when I saw it US. It's the year 454 AD. The Roman Empire has withdrawn from Britain, throwing it into the chaos of the Dark Ages. Maike has been kept safe by her father and her sister half. But when Saxon warriors arrive at their farm, the family is forced to flee to the hills where British warriors lie in wait. Maike survives in a dangerous world where speaking her mother's tongue might be deadly, and where even the people she loves the most can be trusted. So excited. As usual, there's a lot, so I'm not going to say a lot about each, and of course I'll probably miss some that I wanted to be on here. But then on May 3rd in the US, Leah Park and the Missing Jewel by Jenna Yoon. 12-year-old Leah Park just wants to fit in. Her parents work with a mysterious organization that makes them ridiculously overprotective. Leah's every move has been scrutinized since she was born, and she'd love to have the option of doing something exciting for once. So when she gets invited to the biggest birthday party of the year, and her parents say she can't go, Leah sneaks out. But her first act of rebellion not only breaks her parents' rules, but also an ancient protection spell, allowing an evil diviner's spirit to kidnap and ransom her parents for a powerful jewel that her family has guarded for years. With just clothes on her back and some very rusty magical skills, Leah finds herself chasing mysterious clues that take her to her grandmother's home in Korea. From there, she has to make her way to the undersea kingdom of the Dragon King, the only person who knows where the powerful jewel might be. Along with her friend Yoon, Leah must dig deep and find courage to stand up for those who are weak and become the hero her parents need. So excited. So on May 3rd in the US, this came out in hardback last year, but the cover just didn't draw to me, so I didn't really look at it too much. But this new cover I really love, and so it's a lot cheaper since it's paperback too. The Losers at the Center of the Galaxy by Winn, Heider. When Lenny Volpe, former quarterback of the worst professional football team in the nation, leaves his family and disappears, the Chicago Horribles win their first game in a long time. Fans are thrilled. The world seems to go back to normal, except for the Volpe kids. Winston throws himself into playing the tuba, and Louise starts secret experiments to find a cure for brain injuries, and they're each fine, just fine, coping in their own way. That is until the investigation of some eccentric teacher behavior and the discovery of a real live bear paraded as the Horribles' new mascot make it clear that things are very much not fine. The siblings may just need each other after all. Very intrigued by that. Excited to have it. Also on May 3rd in the US, We Are the Song by Bakewell. 12-year-old Alyssa has been raised in seclusion as a devotee of the Mother Goddess. She is a special child, a blessed child, a child who can sing miracles into being. Her voice can heal wounds, halt landslides, cure hunger, and even end wars. There are those who would use her gift for darker things, and when Alyssa finds herself the farthest from home she's ever been, along with her vain and jealous music tutor, Lucio, she will have to develop the judgment to decide who wants to use her song to heal and who wants to use her song to hurt. Been looking forward to this book for so long, so excited. Also on May 3rd in the US, Shadow Grave by Marina, Cohen. I loved a book I've read by her before, Box of Bones, something like that. And so I immediately bought 2 other books of hers, and I still need to read those. One of them's on my TBR shelf. And so I saw this and immediately wanted it. 12-year-old Arlo is afraid of fire, creepy TV shows, and even his own shadow. But most of all, he's afraid of losing his mother to the disease that nearly claimed her life a year ago. During a Thanksgiving road trip, a sudden collision with a strange beast in the middle of the road totals the family car, and Arlo, his mom, and his sister end up stranded in a small town. There's something off about Livermore. No one has a phone or a car, and the townspeople aren't exactly friendly. Without phone service to make call for help, the family stays at the Samuels mansion, but inexplicable sightings at night set Arlo on edge. When he stumbles upon a dark secret that the town's inhabitants will kill to keep, getting out of Livermore becomes a matter of life and death. I love a good spooky middle grade, so I'm very excited about this. Also on May 3rd in the US, Seed by Caryl Lewis. Marty doesn't have much, and like his mom, who seems to hold on to everything. Life at home is tough, but Marty finds sanctuary down at the community garden with his eccentric granddad. On Marty's birthday, Granddad gives him a seed. There's magic in seeds, you know. You can never tell what wonders are in them. As it turns out, Granddad has a rather wonderful plan up his sleeve. It involves wishes, a pumpkin, and a trip all the way from England to Paris. So excited. And this actually comes out on May 12th in the UK with a different cover too, which is also beautiful. Also on May 3rd in the US, The Marvelers by Dhonielle, Clayton. 11-year-old Ella Duran is the first conjurer to attend the Arcanum Training Institute, a magic school in the clouds where marvelers from around the world practice their cultural arts like brewing Indian spice elixirs and bartering with pesky Irish pixies. Despite her excitement, Ella discovers that being the first isn't easy. Some marvelers mistrust her magic, which they deem bad and unnatural. But eventually she finds friends, Elixir's teacher, Master G. Thakur, and fellow misfits Bridget, a girl who hates magic, and Jason, a boy with a fondness for magical creatures. When a dangerous criminal known as the Ace of Anarchy escapes prison, supposedly with the conjurer's aid, tensions grow in the Marvellian world, and Ella becomes the target of suspicion. Worse, Master G. Thakur mysteriously disappears while away on a research trip. With the help of her friends and her own growing powers, Ella must find a way to clear her family's name and track down her mentor before it's too late. I cannot wait. Sounds so up my alley. Also on May 3rd in the U.S., Freddie versus the Family Curse by Tracy Badua. And by the time this goes up, I'll have written the synopsis for this one probably a couple times because I got an arc of this from Books Forward on Instagram. So thank you very much. And I've already read it and I absolutely loved it, so I highly recommend it. I saw May 3rd in the U.S., The Prince of Nowhere by Rochelle. I've also read the synopsis for this one a few times already. HarperCollins sent me a copy. Thank you so much. I absolutely loved it. Highly recommend it. The ending was a little unsatisfying, so I'm hoping there'll be more, but I loved the story. Also on May 3rd in the U.S., Monsters in the Mist by Juliana Brandt. I also read the synopsis of this one several times because I received an arc from Source Books, so thank you very much. Loved it. Such a great, important read with such important issues while at the same time being so spooky and creepy. Highly recommend it. Also on May 3rd in the U.S., The Art of Magic by Hannah Bakewell. Zuzu's first summer without her best friend is looking pretty grim until she meets new kid Andrew at a visit to the historic Mapleton mansion. Together they stumble upon some enchanted art supplies and discover that the shapes they draw and paint can come to life. Their creations are harmless, but Zuzu and Andrew aren't the only ones with access to magic. Soon, nightmarish, half-machine, half-living creatures begin appearing around town, controlled by the power-hungry caster with a sinister mission. It's up to Zuzu and Andrew to use their newfound abilities to protect their community. That sounds so good. So excited. I saw May 3rd in the U.S. and Bake Off by Corey Cooper, which is the sequel to Bake Believe, I think it was, that I read. So I'm very excited to continue that series. I love the first one. I love magic and food and middle grade. On May 4th, this is an Australian release, Big Magic by Sarah Armstrong. And Hardy Grant sent me a copy of this. Thank you so much. So I've already read the synopsis a few times for this one too. Highly recommend it. Absolutely loved it. And I'm so excited to see there'll be a sequel coming. I cannot wait. It was such a great book. And on May 5th in the UK, The Map of Leaves by Yarrow Townsend. Orla has lived on her own since Ma died, with only her beloved garden for company. When sickness comes in nature's wane, Orla knows she must find a cure. Armed with her mother's book of plants and remedies, she steals away on a riverboat with two other stowaways, Idris and Ariana. Soon the trio must navigate the rapids of the Inkwater to a poisonous place from which they may never return. This just sounds so amazing. And then on May 5th, The Unmaru Curse by Jasmine Richards. And I think this is a new cover for these. I have the first two books, but this is what the old cover looks like. It's not every day that you find a famous weather woman bound by magic to a tree deep in the woods, or discover that the weather woman is in fact Suna, the Norse goddess of the sun, and one of the 7-day guardians who keep time in order. That's just what happens to new friends Buzz and Mary, and it's only the start of their adventure. Now as humanity are forced into lockdown called the Unmaru Curse, and are forced to repeat the same Saturday over and over again, Buzz and Mary must journey to collect the runes of Valhalla and awaken the other day guardians before vengeful god Loki can get to them first. Had those forever and they sound amazing, so I'm very excited to get to them. So on May 5th in the UK, Sister to a Star by Eloise Smith. Evie is forever crossing swords with her twin. While she practices her after-school fencing, Tallulah is winning movie auditions. Neither of them could have imagined how their worlds would collide, but when Tallulah goes to Hollywood, Evie goes too, as her sister's identical stand-in. That changes when the film needs some all-action swordplay. Soon, Evie's the one enjoying the limelight. That is until Tallulah goes missing. I didn't tell you much, but it's very intriguing. I can't wait to see what happens. Also on May 5th in the UK, The Color of Hope by Ross Mackenzie. Years ago, the Emperor used dark magic to steal all the color from the world. Now he keeps it for himself, enjoying its life-giving power while everyone else must exist in cold shades of gray. That is until a miracle baby is born. Everything she touches turns to color, but the child's life is in danger from her very first breath. Soon the Emperor's murderous ripper dogs in black coats come hunting. Can the girl and her adoptive father survive in the forest, and what will it take to return color and hope to the world? I love this author, and he does dark middle grade so well, so I cannot wait to read that. Also on May 5th in the UK, Rebel Skies by Anne Elen. Can I say so? Carrara has never known any other life than being a servant on board the Midori. But when her party's trick of making paper come to life turns out to be a power treasured across the empire, she joins the skyship and its motley crew to become a crafter. Taught by the gruff but wise Himara, Carrara learns to hunt shikigami, wild paper spirits who are sought after by the princess. But are these creatures just powerful slaves, or are they beings with their own souls? And can a teenage girl be the one to help them find their voice and change the course of an empire? That just sounds incredible. Also on May 5th in the UK, The Secret Wild by Alex Evelyn. Fern has spent her whole life in the rainforest and loves nothing more than climbing, exploring, and talking to the trees. When she suddenly has to leave all that behind and move to London with only an eccentric uncle for company, Fern feels entirely uprooted. But when she meets a little plant that can understand her every word, it seems that things are looking up. That is until strange things start happening in the city. Giant lily pads on the Thames, monkey vines on the London Eye, and now her new friend is starting to wilt. Can they solve this growing mystery together before it's too late? Also in the UK on May 5th, Firestorm by Vashti Hardy. This is the third and I think final book in this series, and I'm so excited it's coming out, but so sad it's ending if it is. Such a favorite series, and I'm so excited to go back into that world. And then Legendarium, May 5th in the UK by Jennifer Bell. This is the second book, the sequel to Wonderscape. Love that book. I love Jennifer Bell's books, so I'm so excited. And then also May 5th in the UK, Ara Shah and the Nectar of Immortality by Roshani Chatsky. I don't know how many books are going to be in this series. I don't know if this is the last or there will be more. This is the 5th book. I'm loving this series, so I'm so excited that I'll have that one to dive into whenever I finish the 4th book. And then on May 10th in the US, Crazy in Poughkeepsie by Daniel Pinkwater. Mick is a good kid, but maybe he can use just a little guidance, but it's unclear who will be guiding whom, because Mick's brother came home from Tibet with the self-proclaimed Guru Lumpo Smithy Finkel and his dog Hassan, and then promptly settled both of them in Mick's bedroom. The thing about this kind of guru is that he doesn't seem to know exactly what he's trying to do. He sure does seem to be hungry though. So Mick agrees to something like a quest, roaming the suburbs with the oddest group of misfits, Lumpo and Asa, graffiti fanatic Vern, and Vern's unusual friend Molly. Molly is a Burgess girl. Don't worry if you don't know what that is yet, and she seems to be going off the rails a bit. Along the way, the gang will get invited to a rollicking gross party, consult a very strange little king, and actually discover the truth about heaven. Version of the truth anyway, because in Daniel Pinkwater's tale, the truth is never the slightest bit like what you're expecting. I don't know if this is the same Poughkeepsie like New York, but I just know that name because I love Jersey Shore so much, and all I can hear is Ron calling Snooki Princess loser from Poughkeepsie, and they call her Princess of Poughkeepsie or whatever. Also on May 10th in the US, Duet by Elise Broach. Welcome to the world of Maribel, a young goldfinch who loves to sing and dream of becoming a musical star. She lives with her family in the backyard of a piano teacher, and she is quickly intrigued by Mr. Sterrick's newest pupil. Michael Jen is an 11-year-old keyboard sensation, but lesson after lesson he refuses to play. With the prestigious Chopin Festival looming at summer's end, how will he be ready in time? Maribel is responsible for Michael's breakthrough. To her own astonishment, she sings the Chopin piece he is beginning to play at the piano. It's their first duet. Thus begins a secret adventure that will take Maribel and Michael further than they ever imagined, in music, in friendship, and in solving the mystery of a lost piano that could be worth millions. A house full of treasures holds the clue. There, Maribel, Michael, and their friend Emily will make an important discovery that links the great composer Frédéric Chopin, trailblazing author George Sand, and the French romantic painter Eugene Delacroix. Everything about that intrigues me, and it just sounds like such a great mystery too. Also on May 10th in the U.S., the first book in the Dreamkeeper saga, The Dragon and the Stone by Catherine Butler. I actually received a copy of this from the publisher. Thank you very much, Crossway Publishing. Even though she's only 12 years old, Lily McKinley already feels the weight of the world's brokenness. She's seen it in her mother's exhaustion, her grandmother's illness, and the cruelty of Adam, the bully at her school. But most tragically, she experienced it 2 months ago when her father died in a terrible accident. As an artistic daydreamer, Lily has a brilliant imagination to help her cope, but that imagination often gets her in trouble. One day, it transports her to a fantasy world called the Somnium Realm, where her father's secret history embroils her in an epic quest. With the help of a dragon guide named Cedric, Lily battles evil shrouds, harpies, and other creatures to find her way through grief, rescue the world from evil, and discover the power of redemption. So it's got the Christian themes, so I'm very excited for that. Sounds like an important book, like a great adventure, fantasy adventure with important message. And also on May 10th in the U.S., Unfadable by Maurice Brodus. And I've already read the synopsis of this one in my book recently because HarperCollins sent me a copy, so thank you very much. I'm so excited to read it. Same thing on May 10th in the U.S., Yonder by Ali Standish. Also got a copy from HarperCollins, and I read the synopsis. It just sounds amazing, and it's so beautiful. Thank you, HarperCollins. Also on May 10th in the U.S., and I'm not going to read the synopsis because, just like the others, I've read it before because I got a copy from HarperCollins. Thank you so much. It's Drifters by Kevin Emerson. And it just sounds so amazing. I'm so excited to dive in. I've heard such amazing things about this author. So thank you so much, HarperCollins. Cannot wait. And also on May 10th in the U.S., Wild Seed Witch by Marty Dumas. Hassani's post-7th grade summer to-do list is pretty simple. Get a bigger following for her makeup YouTube channel and figure out how to get her parents back together. What she does not expect is that an emotional outburst will spark a latent magical ability in her, or that the magic will be strong enough to attract the attention of witches, or that before she can say #BlackGirlMagic, she'll be shipped off on a scholarship to a fancy finishing school for talented young ladies. Les Belles Demoiselles is a literal charm school. Here, generations of young ladies from old money witch families have learned to harness their magic, and alumni grow to become some of the most powerful women across industries, including politicians, philanthropists, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and yes, even social media influencers. Needless to say, admission to the school is highly coveted, very exclusive, and Hassani sticks out like the weed in a rose banquet. While the other girls have always known they were destined to be witches, Hassani is a wild seed, a stray witch from a family of non-witches with no background knowledge, no way to control her magic, and a lot to catch up on. Wild seed may be an insult that the other girls throw at her, but wild seeds are more powerful than they know. And Hassani will learn that there are ways to use magic and thrive that can never be taught in a classroom. I've been looking forward to this book for so long. I'm so excited for it to come out. Same with this. On May 10th in the U.S., Zachary Ying and the Dragon Emperor by Ziran J. Zhao. Zachary Ying never had many opportunities to learn about his Chinese heritage. His single mom was busy enough making sure they got by, and his school never taught anything about Western history and myths. So Zach is woefully unprepared when he discovers he was born to host the spirit of the first emperor of China for a vital mission, sealing the leaking portal to the Chinese underworld before the upcoming ghost month blows it wide open. The mission takes an immediate wrong turn when the first emperor botches his attempt to possess Zach's body and binds to Zach's AR game and headset instead, leading to a battle where Zach's mom's soul gets taken by demons. Now with one of history's most infamous tyrants yapping in his headset, Zachary must journey across China to heist magical artifacts and defeat figures from history and myth, all while learning to wield the Emperor's incredible water dragon powers. As Zach can't finish the mission in time, the spirits of the underworld will flood into the mortal realm, and he could lose his mom forever. Sounds so good. Then on May 12th in the UK, Future Hero, Race to the Mountain by Remy Blackwood. Destiny is calling. When Jarrell discovers that the fantasy world he is obsessed with doodling is actually real, he is launched into an incredible adventure. While Fricka, the land of his ancestors, is in trouble and he is the hero they need. With the help of brave and wisecracking Mizzy, Jarrell must stop the evil Kala. The future of Fricka depends on it. Sounds like a great adventure. And on May 12th in the UK, The Wondrous Prune by Ellie Clements. Uprooted by her single mom, along with her troublesome older brother, 11-year-old Prune Robinson is trying to settle in a new town. She figures she can't burden her hard-working mother with the fact that she's being bullied, or the fact that her drawings have started coming to life. But with her brother soon in danger, Prune comes to realize that she can't hide her powers forever. In fact, it might just be the one thing that brings her family back together and saves them all. So excited for this one for so long too. So May 12th in the UK, Our Sister Again by Sophie Cameron. Small island off the Scottish coast, Elen and her family are grieving the loss of her older sister Flora, who died 3 years ago. Then they're offered the chance to be a part of a top-secret trial which revives loved ones as fully lifelike AI robots using their digital footprint. Isla has her doubts about second chances, but they evaporate the moment the new Flora arrives. This girl is not some uncanny close likeness. She is Flora, a perfect replica. But not everyone on their island feels the same, and as the threats to Flora mount, she grows distant and more secretive. Will Isla be able to protect the new Flora and bring the community back together? So intrigued by this whole concept of this story. So on May 12th in the UK, Xena, Starborn and the Skywell by Hannah Durkin. Xena Starborn spends her days dreaming of adventure in the sky and escaping the smog-filled city of Ravenport. So when she wins the chance to visit the famous Willoughby Well Hotel, a ginormous structure built on the back of a flying whale, Xena grabs it. Even clashing with Jackson's spoiled heir to the Willoughby fortune can't dampen her excitement. But a series of clues makes her question what she's been told by the dazzling world of adventures, explorers, and mighty sky whales. Xena and Jackson must put aside their differences to uncover the secret plot around them as they embark on the journey of a lifetime. So excited! Also on May 12th in the UK, The Good Turn by Sharna Jackson. Josephine Williams is a future-focused, eternal-loving 11-year-old who is desperate to explore the world beyond her cul-de-sac and her browser. When she learns about Josephine Holloway, the woman who started the first Girl Scout troop for black girls in America, she's certain she must start her own. Enlisting her friends Margot Anderson and Wesley Evans, the trio begins their quest for the camping badge. Drawn to an abandoned factory nearby, they stumble across something strange. A square, ancient television and two tatty armchairs. Beside it, a wooden sideboard with an old photograph of a young happy couple. What is this? Who or what lives here and why? Such an interesting adventure. Then, on May 17th in the U.S., Best Frenemies Forever by Megan McCafferty. Sophie Daly is not looking forward to starting middle school. For one thing, she doesn't look like the other kids. Instead of trendy tank tops, she wears high-tech shirts that block UV rays. Sun protection is serious business. And she definitely doesn't sound like the other kids either. She can't say holla or hot take without making a weird face. Same girl, same. Needless to say, this is probably why her best friend Ella ditched her for Queen Bee Morgan. Sophie's comfortable with who she is and doesn't want to change, but she's also pretty lonely without Ella. Even worse, Morgan seems intent on making 7th grade miserable for Sophie, and Ella doesn't bat an eye at the bullying. Then a new girl moves in next door to Sophie. Katie Ray is everything Sophie is not, bashful and super confident. Sophie can't believe Katie wants to spend the last days of summer with her. Determined to keep Katie as a friend, Sophie lies about her social status, claiming to be besties with Morgan and Ella. As long as Katie attends Villa Academy, a private school on the other side of town, she'll never find out her first friend in New Jersey is a loser. But can any friendship built on lies survive 7th grade? Probably not. On May 17th in the U.S., Sorceline by Sylvia Dewey. This is a graphic novel, and I'm so excited. The art is so beautiful. For as long as she can remember, Sorceline has had a knack for the study of mythical creatures. Now a student at Professor Archibald Bazar's prestigious School of Cryptozoology, she's eager to test her skills and earn a spot as one of Bazar's apprentices. But for all her knowledge of gorgons, vampires, and griffins, Sorceline is mystified by her fellow humans. While she excels in her studies, she quickly clashes with her classmates, revealing her fiery temper. When one of her rivals suddenly disappears, Sorceline must set aside her anger and join the quest to find her. But the mystery only deepens, leading Sorceline on a journey far darker and more personal than she expected. Cannot wait. On May 17th in the U.S., Lines of Courage by Jennifer A. Nielsen. World War I stretches its cruel fingers across Europe, where 5 young people, each from different backgrounds and nations, face the terror of battle, the deprivations of hunger, and all the awful challenges of war. Felix, from Austria-Hungary, longs for the bravery to resist Jewish deportations before his own family can be taken. Kara from Britain dreams of someday earning the Red Cross pin and working as a nurse, or even a doctor. Juliet of France hopes her family can remain knitted together despite her father's imprisonment as the war's longest battle stretches on and on. Elsa from Germany hopes her homing pigeon might one day bring her a friend from out of the chaos. And Dmitri of Russia wants only to survive the front where he's been sent with no weapon. None of them will find exactly what they want, but the winds of fate may cross their paths to give each of them just what they need. So, I usually see more World War II stories, so I'm intrigued by the World War I and from all these different sides, because so many people are affected so differently by war. So, I'm very intrigued by this. I have so many books of hers, because she just writes books that just call out to me, so I can't wait to finally pick one of them up, and that one sounds amazing. Also, May 17th in the U.S., Let the Monster Out by Chad Lucas. Bones Malone feels like he can't do anything right in his new small town. He almost punched the son of a woman who babysits him and his brothers. He's one of the only black kids in Lango, and now his baseball team, the one place where he really feels like he shines, just lost their first game. To make matters worse, things in town are getting weird. His mom isn't acting like herself at all. She's totally spaced out, almost like a zombie. And then he and his brothers have the same dream, one where they're running from some of their deepest fears, like a bear in an eerie cracked mirror that Bones would rather should forget. Kyle Specs feels like he can never say the right thing at the right time. He thinks he might be neurodivergent, but he hasn't gotten an official diagnosis yet. His parents worry that the world might be too hard for him and try to protect him, but Kyle knows that they can't do that forever. Even though he's scared, he can't just stand by and do nothing while things in this town get stranger and stranger, especially not after he and Bones find a mysterious scientist journal that might hold answers about what's going on. But when faced with seemingly impossible situations, a shady corporation, and their own worst nightmares, will Kyle and Bones be brave enough to admit they're scared, or will the fear totally consume and control them? Love a spooky movie. Also on May 17th in the U.S., The Patron Thief of Bread by Lindsay Eager. Fished from the river as an infant and raised by a roving band of street urchins who call themselves the Crowns. 8-year-old Duck keeps her head down and her mouth shut. It's a rollicking life, always thieving, always on the run, until the ragtag Crowns infiltrate an abandoned cathedral in the city of Odarn and decide to set down roots. It's all part of the bold new plan hatched by the Crown's fearless leader, Nat, one of their very own, who will pose as an apprentice to the local baker, relieving Master Griselda of bread and coin to fill the bellies and line the pockets of all the Crowns. But no sooner is Duck apprenticed to the kindly Griselda than Duck's allegiances start to blur. Who is she really, a Crown or an apprentice baker? And who does she want to be? Meanwhile, high above the streets of Odarn, on the roof of an unfinished cathedral, an old and ugly gargoyle grows weary of waiting to fulfill his own destiny, to watch and protect. My heart always belongs to gargoyles and stories that come to life, so I cannot wait. So on May 17th in the U.S., This Is Not a Drill by K.A. Holt. Ava is having a really bad day. Her parents are getting divorced. She just had a big argument with her two best friends, and she forgot to charge her phone again. To top it all off, while she's hiding out in the bathroom over lunch, the alarm goes off for a lockdown drill. Ava knows the rules. She has to get herself to a classroom, turn the ringer off her phone, lock the door, and cover the windows. But all of the rooms have already been locked from the inside, and there's no one in the halls. Pretty soon, she realizes there is an intruder in the building. This isn't a drill. So that sounds like it's going to be a whopper to get through emotionally, probably. But it sounds... something about it calls to me, so... Then on May 17th, Kiki Clara Conquers a Curse by Sangu Mandana. And this is the second in the series, and I love the first book so much. It was such a great read, so much great mythology, mental health stuff, issues done so well that I related to so well. So I cannot wait for that to come out. On May 24th in the U.S., Journey to the Parallels by Marcy Roman. 12-year-old Amber has the ordinary problems of a 7th grader. Strained friendships, an annoying younger brother, and why can't her unconventional mother just act normal for once? When her wish comes true, Amber suspects it's not just her mother's behavior that's changed, but her actual mother. So where did her real mother go? Amber puts her best investigative efforts to work and discovers that one of her mother's silly claims that they can view a parallel world in the window of an old industrial building might not be so silly after all. That just sounds so fascinating. Cannot wait for that. And on May 24th in the U.S., Wave Riders by Lauren St. John. I think this originally came out in the UK, and now this is the US edition. 12-year-old Jess and Jude live a dream life on battered old yachts, sailing from one exotic destination to the next with their guardian. But when he vanishes one night after an argument with a stranger, the twins are left alone, facing an incoming storm and unknown enemy. Surviving at sea is just the start of an adventure that will take them on ocean away from the former home of their missing parents and pit them against one of the world's most powerful men. How far do they dare go, and what will they risk to find the truth about who they really are? It was absolutely beautiful, and that sounds like such a good adventure. May 24th in the U.S., The Problem with Prophecies by Scott Rankin. I have some of his books from a trilogy that he wrote that I still want to read, and this sounds just as great. Most people inherit eye colors or heirlooms, but for Celia Cleary, the gift of prophecy has been passed down in her family for generations. And on the 4,444th day of her life, Celia will have her first vision, but nothing could have prepared her for what she sees. The quiet boy down the street, Jeffrey Johnson, is about to die. Determined to save him despite her grandmother's warnings against it, Celia alters events to stop her vision from playing out. But for each prophecy she avoids, another one takes its place, putting Jeffrey in constant danger. Fate has made its choice and is not giving up the hunt. Focusing on homework or friends isn't easy when you're going head-to-head with death, and keeping Jeffrey Johnson alive is throwing Celia's 7th grade year into chaos. It doesn't help that she's getting to know Jeffrey more and more with each new rescue attempt. It really doesn't help when she realizes she kind of likes him. Will Celia's gift be enough to thwart fate, or are some things in life inevitable? It just makes me think of, every time I try to think of something that I've known for many years. Final Destination, where you try to alter fate and it just always finds a way, so that makes me a little nervous for that kid. May 24th in the U.S., the Enola Holmes graphic novel by Serena Blackstow, based on the novels by Nancy Springer. So this is just an adaptation of those novels. So I won't read the synopsis because I've read that before, but very excited. The art looks amazing. May 24th in the U.S., Camp Whatever, The Doors to Nowhere by Chris Grine. I absolutely love the first book in this graphic novel series so much. Cannot wait to continue. So excited. May 26th in the UK, The Breakfast Club Adventures, The Beast Beyond the Fence by Marcus Rashford. There's something fishy going on at school. When 12-year-old Marcus kicks his favorite football over the school fence, he knows he's never getting it back. Nothing that goes over the wall ever comes back. But when Marcus gets a mysterious note inviting him to join the Breakfast Club investigators, he is soon pulled into an exciting adventure with his new mates, Stacy, Ice, and Asim, to solve the mystery and get his football back. Nothing after the first part sounds the same at all, but when he says he kicks the ball over the fence and he's not getting it back because nothing over the fence ever gets back, I just think about the Sandlot. But that sounds amazing. May 26th in the UK, Magic Board by Peter Bundle. The curse has changed. You'll never know. The truth is lost. The lies will grow. The year is 1726, and the royal sorcerer of England is on the hunt for those who are magic born. When Tempest is captured after accidentally unleashing a power she didn't know she had, she is taken to Kensington Palace alongside a boy like her, Thomas. Trapped, Tempest and Thomas find their magic flickering to life, and with it, long-buried memories. For they are lost prince and princess of fairyland, bound by a deadly curse, and now the fairies are coming to get them. A battle is building, one only they can end, but who will survive? And this is the first in a sumptuous and enthralling new historical fantasy adventure series. So it's going to be a series which makes me so happy, and I love historical fantasy. And this is the author of the Caldecott series, which is one of my favorite series of all time. And that's actually this series that made me realize, I think those were the first steampunk books I read, and let me realize how much I love steampunk. So excited. May 26th in the UK, The Extraordinary Adventures of Alice Tombs by Emily Kenny. After a rather strange encounter with a seagull on her first day of boarding school, Alice Tonks is left with a lot of questions. Why does the bird need her help? And why can she talk to seagulls? Alice is used to being by herself, but she can't solve the mystery alone. With her new friends behind her, can Alice harness her magic powers and become the hero she never imagined? Love a group of friends trying to solve something and going on an adventure together. Magic, talking to a bird, yes. And on May 31st in the U.S., Theo Tan and the Fox Spirit by Jesse Q. Sutanto. Theo Tan doesn't want a spirit companion. He just wants to be a normal American kid, playing video games, going to conventions, and using Surf pendants to cast his spells like everyone else. But when his older brother dies, Theo ends up inheriting Jamie's Fox Spirit, Kai. Kai isn't happy about this either. Theo is nothing like Jamie, and the two of them have never gotten along. When they realize the mysterious journal Jamie left Theo is filled with clues and secret codes, it's clear that something strange was going on with Jamie's internship at Rippling Corp. The only way onto campus is the highly competitive Know Your Roots summer camp program, a celebration of Chinese and Indian cultures designed to help connect students with their heritage. Theo and Kai will have to put aside their differences long enough to honor Jamie's last wishes, or the mystery he died for will remain unsolved forever. That sounds so good. And then on May 31st in the U.S., The Impossible Destiny of Cutie Grackle by Sean K. Stout. Cutie Grackle is used to being different. She lives alone on a mountain with her feeble-minded uncle, and when she's not sucking pebbles to trick her stomach into feeling full, she's chatting with a weathered garden gnome for company. But having a flock of ravens follow you is more than just different. Cutie worries the birds are connected to the curse Uncle Horace tends to mutter about, and she's right. The ravens present her with a fortune from a cookie, and when she touches it, she's pulled into a vision from her family's past. It involves the curse and her long-lost mother. The birds offer up a series of objects, each imbued with memories that eventually reveal Cutie must do what her mother could not, break the curse. That sounds so good. I'm so excited. On May 31st, The Summer of June by Jamie Sumner. 12-year-old June Delancey is kicking summer off with a bang. She shaves her head and sets 2 goals. She will beat her anxiety and be the lion she knows she can be, instead of the mouse everyone sees. And she and her single mama will own their power as fierce, independent females. With the help of Homer Juarez, the poetry-citing soccer star who believes in June even when she doesn't believe in herself, she starts a secret library garden and hatches a plan to make her dreams come true. But when her anxiety becomes too much, everything begins to fall apart. It's going to take more than a haircut and some flowers to set things right. It's going to take courage and friends and watermelon pie. Forget second chances. This is the summer of new beginnings. Not all contemporaries call out to me, but this one did. It just sounds like such a great read, summer read with such great messages, so very excited. And then the next 3 are all connected. May 31st in the U.S., The Rise of School for Good and Evil by Soman Shinani. And this is the prequel to the series, and I actually got an arc or a bound manuscript from Soman and his team, so thank you so much. I cried, and I could just cry thinking about it. But I cannot wait to be back in that world. It's my favorite series of all time, so I cannot believe I have a new book in that world to read. And this is the prequel to the series. So the synopsis is: the battle between good and evil begins. 2 brothers, one good, one evil. Together they watch over the endless woods. Together they choose the students for the school of good and evil. Together they train them, teach them, prepare them for their fate. Then something happens. Something unexpected. something powerful, something that will change everything and everyone. Who will survive? Who will rule the school? The journey starts here. Every step is filled with magic, surprises, and daring deeds that test courage, loyalty, and who you really are. But they only lead you to the very beginning, the adventures that are the school for good and evil. I don't know why I about cried reading that. So excited. And then also on May 31st is, in the US, is the box set. And the reason I want this box set, even though I already have them all in paperback and hardback, is the box itself. I'm gonna butcher his first name, I know him. But Jacopo Bruno is one of my favorite illustrators of all time. He's the illustrator of the School for Good and Evil. And he did this box set, and it is so beautiful. Cannot wait. Journey into a dazzling new world when two best friends enter the School for Good and Evil, where ordinary boys and girls are trained to be fairy tale heroes and villains. One will train for good, one will become evil's new hope. Each thinks they know where they belong. But when the two friends are swept into the endless woods, they find their fortunes are reversed. The aftermath leads to unexpected paths, new alliances, and forces that divide them in an exhilarating quest to find their true ever after. And then lastly, also on May 31st in the US, the School for Good and Evil Handbook. I have this in hardcover, but this, with the same illustrator, is stunning, and it goes so much better. The cover goes so much better with the series. I'm so excited. It just says, wish you could go to the School for Good and Evil. Join the ranks of heroes and villains who have walked these hallowed halls and mastered what it takes to succeed in their own fairy tales. Surviving the trials and tribulations of the school is no walk in the park. The Ever Never Handbook is here to help. This handbook equips new students with everything they'll need to excel at the School for Good and Evil. Good luck. There's just so much goodness at the end of the month for School for Good and Evil, and I'm so excited. And then this summer, the movie, the Netflix movie is coming out, and I can't wait. It's just such a good year for my favorite series. So excited for Someone and all of them and all of his team and everybody that has always put such hard work into the series, and they do an amazing job. So excited. So, are you excited about any of these? Did you see any you want to read? Let me know in the comments. Reading bell here. I just thought of it after I stopped filming. All illustrators will be listed below, like usual. The ones I can, and then I would participate in a release video like this when I don't have the books yet. Some of them might be blank, and that's because I can't find them. And if you're an author or you're doing a cover reveal, like on Instagram or something, put the illustrator. It makes it so much easier for me, especially. But the main thing, and the important thing, not even me, they deserve the credit. It's a cover reveal. You're revealing the cover. You should give the credit for the cover reveal. It just blows me away that that's even a thing. It's so hard to find who did the cover of a book. Like, it shouldn't be hard. You should credit these people. Sorry, that's just a little rant, but credit them. And not just because, I mean, yes, I love it because it makes it easier for me to figure out who it is, but that's because I want to credit them, and they deserve it. It shouldn't be a struggle. They deserve it. And when you're doing a cover reveal, and I find the cover reveal and it's not on there, and they're not listed, even if they don't have a social media, you can put their name. And this is only for authors that have a Instagram that I'm talking about. If you don't, just credit them, please. They deserve the credit. I only look at a book because of the cover. That's what makes me even read a synopsis. So they deserve a lot of credit for the sales of your book. What's inside is important, but the cover, you can't, there's no lying. I mean, people can pretend, but the cover is the main part of it. So please credit them. Rant over. I hope you enjoyed the video. And today's shirt is Christina Aguilera from her Stripped CD. Her CD by her. And I actually had my hair like that at the time too. Well, back and forth different. Like I would do the platinum blonde with like the black highlights, and then black with like platinum blonde highlights. I don't know why that was a thing back then, but it was. Anyway, and I'd love if you would like to subscribe. I would love that if you like to. And I'll see you in my next video.